Shumi, wow, what a aroma!
Wow.
This place looks like a
Good evening, Partho. Come.
Oh, what aromatic!
Join me for this
Thank you,
unique
thank you.
aromatic experience
Oh,
today.
thank you so much. Indeed, we'll have a good time with this aromatic experience.
Love you, Zindegi. I'm Shumi, back again with the 7th episode. Today we are going to talk about Be Aromatic to be Attractive. And with me, I have Dr. Bose, trusted friend and wellness guru.
Good evening, everybody.
And as you can see, Partho is just beautiful. The flowers, the diyas, water, and some dash of lemon and essence here. We are filled with, senses. And as I see this, I remember a couple of lines from Tagore. He says, I don't remember my mother. Only in the early mornings of autumn, the scent of the shiuli flowers floating in the air, the fragrance of the morning service in the temple comes to me as the scent of my mother. How beautifully he has connected his nostalgic memories of his mother with that of shiuli, with that of fragrance of the agarbattis and the diyas in the temple. And so do we, don't we? We associate certain memories with our loved ones, our partners perhaps, first love, childhood friendship, and then probably we moved far away. But whenever we come across such fragrances, we associate that with our friends. But am I being just ridiculously romantic, or is there any truth to it?
Shumi, you are just dot on. That reminds me, when Kiss is a Kiss, with a sweet song, but smell is not all smell.
Yes.
So maybe you remember those sweet words, kiss is a kiss, but when we talk of smell is not a smell, because smell is linked to your memory. It's so much ingrained to your memory.
Yeah.
So that's why we say, as a professional, smell is not only a neural pathway which takes you to the brain. It is connected to so many things. And the most important connect, what we call the limbic system, your memory and your emotion. The emotion and memory, the two important areas of the brain where your olfactory bulb, when you get some kind of aroma or a experience, it goes into your front portion of the brain and finally goes into your limbic, what you call the emotion and the visual part of the brain, what we call the pre-cingulate gyrus, which is a technical term, but this is what you can say, the emotional and the limbic system of the brain. So that's why when we talk of smell is something to do with your memory, with something to do with your emotion, something to do with your visual experience. I'll tell you something. You still remember that, when in those school days, when mother used to bake those cookies, or
yes,
and I still remember when I go to a cookie shop, I remember my mother, because I could still feel when I rocket back to those experiences in my school days when I used to bump into my mother's and she was baking cookies, she used to bake. So that fragrance of cookies, and when I go to a cookie man the other day, when I went to a mall, I saw the same kind of experience. I was remembering mother, and in that process I picked up so many other cookies.
Yeah.
So this is a tremendous amount you connect with your emotional brain and your visual brain. And also it has been found, and tell you little things which I was just going through in articles. It has been found in most of the corporates, especially the largest studies which have been found, that when you have an aromatic experiences, your performance increases by 57%.
I'm sure it does.
And it has been found in most of the corporates now, like lemon scent or some kind of, I tell you one thing, in my hospital, there's a coffee shop there. So when I start my round smelling those coffee, which comes right at the ground, the coffee experience that gives you the moral boosting, I feel good, I feel happy, I feel joyous. So that kind of coffee experience, so it is very much with your emotional and the memory component. And I think it's very relevant. So that's why smell is so, bountiful. It's so romantic.
Yes.
It is so, you cannot really define smell. So I think it's beyond smell. You can call it aroma.
Yeah.
And I think that is what is all we are going to talk about it. And, you won't believe, unless and until you're aromatic, unless and until your environment is aromatic. Now the whole world is working in a closed space.
Yes,
Work from home.
Yeah.
If your space is not aromatic, you will not enhance your performance.
Absolutely.
So everything is aroma and everything, and
it gives out a lot of positivity.
It makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy. It enhances your mood. Your performance increases, and that's part of it. It has been found in the recent studies. When you have an aromatic experience, just now we scrub little sandalwood here, I'm feeling happy. I remember those experiences, and it has been found when you have an aromatic experiences, your communication improves because your brain feels happy.
You remember it longer.
Yeah,
because it is not the audio or the visual. It is just the tactile.
It's very tactile. It's very tactile. It is very. I feel that there is so many things, and also if you compare, look. In human brain, olfactory bulb, what you call the number one, we have very small representation. But if you see the other animals, the insects, if you are talking about the fishes, you are talking about the other animals.
Absolutely.
Their mating is all aromatic. It's all release of hormones called pheromones.
But tell me, can you determine a personality by the odor, by the body odor, or the the aroma that we carry?
Absolutely. I tell you one thing, because aroma is something which talks about your core, it talks about your genetics, it talks about your attitude, it talks about
hygiene,
about your hygiene, it talks about from where you come, it talks about your finesse and what you talk about. Attitude, and that is what you call about. It gives you a holistic understanding of a human being.
Yeah.
How good you smell, how good, everything is, and that's why I said that smell or aroma is not only a fragrance, it is a breath of life. Your breath should smell good, you should feel good, and it's a life, it's an energy.
And I guess in workspace especially, all of us have to ensure that we smell well, smell good for the others as well as ourselves. So, in confined spaces, I find people traveling in metro, I find when I sit in the Uber, there is a very strong odor. But Partho, is the sweat smelly? Or what makes it so smelly and unpleasant? And we don't talk about it. That is the problem.
Before I go into what is the smelly part of the sweat, so you asked me a very pertinent question. So can I really characterize different phenotypes based on the genotypes and all? Can I really classify people based on the aromatic experiences? Yes, we can. Because I tell you, a very interesting thing is that basically we classify humanity or human beings into two types. Either you are like a rabbit, very hyperactive, or you're like a tortoise, little slow down, chilled out, what is called parasympathetic. Those who are little hyperventilating people, they usually have a different smell. Because what happens when you're hyperventilating, when you're anxious, so what happens? You tend to sweat more.
So I do.
So when you're hyperventilating, when you're anxious, so sweat has a different smell. But when you're chilled out, confident, then you smell. Like for example, have you done any preparation? We have not done any preparation. We are just experiencing. We are explaining our experiences. But hyperactive behaviors give you a different kind of smell.
Obviously.
Why? Because you sweat more. When you sweat more, then definitely there will be more bacterial multiplication. We'll talk about it later on. This is number one. So type of personality from the type of smell you get. So you get more of musty odor people, those who are anxious and hyperactive people, and you get very smoothie, what you call the very cumin smell. And that's why we divide into two types of smell: goatee odor and a cumin odor. So the goatee odors are usually those who are hyperactive and hyperventilating, and little cumin seeds or is a natural flavor of the body. Usually those are very chilled out, relaxed, confident people. This is number one. Number two. Also, it tells about what kind of lifestyle you're having.
Absolutely.
So, a person, it doesn't matter whether you have a toned body or something, the level of exercise which you do. Those who have not been exercising good, those who are not physically exercising, they will have a different kind of smell because they will sweat more. And those who have been regularly exercising, they will smell good because they are optimally excreting that water because the skin has to lose the water.
So they sweat a lot, yet you are saying that it's good, healthy, and it's.
So what happens? Normally when you are used to certain physical activity, suppose you are going into a lot of high intensity workouts in the morning, you will sweat more. But when you are doing on a regular basis, you will sweat more, and you are getting a uniform sweat. But those who are not exercising, those who are sedentary. So what will happen? It will take some time for the the pores to open up. So there will be more, there will be stagnant water collections more. There will be more smelly because there will be more sticky. So there will not a free flowing of water because the sweat has a high percentage of water provided you are allowing your pores to open up on a daily basis. This is number 2. Number 3, it has also been seen the kind of food you eat. It talks about your
absolutely. Yes.
Like for example, those who have been taking a very spicy food, they have a very spicy aromatic. Those who have been consuming a different kind of alcohol, they have a different smell. Those who are smokers, they have an entirely a different smell. And also it has been found the type of cooking oil you use, you can make out a little aromatic. Those who have been consuming a coconut oil, they have a very coconut smell and all those things.
Of course, fish and
all those things. So, you can get an ethnic classification, you can talk about the genetic variants, you can talk about personalities. And the most important, you come to know about the personality and the hygiene of the person.
The background, of course. Ethnicity, I guess.
And see, when we talk of God, what is called godliness is cleanliness.
Yes.
So it talks about the godliness of the person, how clean he's feeling, how clean he's doing. So, a lot of things you come to know. I think from an aromatic experience, I know the person.
But how do we, the body odor that people get, a lot of the times you find that people have infections, skin infections in their private parts, in underarms. So how to prevent such infections? Because they tend to smell, the body odor becomes very strong.
Before I go into why they smell, let me tell you, body's odor is absolutely odorless. The audience should know. Our body does not have any odor.
This is what he breaks the myth and the belief that sweat smells. It doesn't.
It doesn't smell because sweat has a very high level of water content. And let me tell you, friends, we have got 3 kinds of skin glands. One is called eccrine glands, sebaceous glands, and an apocrine glands. This eccrine and sebaceous glands, they are basically releasing water, and their 80% is water. They're all watery. But this apocrine glands, they release a kind of fluid which is a little sebum, we call it. It's a combination of lipids, steroids, and little protein, and they're a little sticky. So even they are also not smelly. But what happens? This apocrine gland, since they're a little sticky. So what happens if you're not very clean, if you're not very hygienic, if you don't allow your skin to, get the right kind of exposure, certain organisms grow in this kind of sticky fluids. So normally our skin flora, we have got the 2 classical flora which we grow as a what you call commensal, we call it. This is a natural growth. One is Corynebacterium and it is called Staphylococcus. Now, I'll give you an example. Many times you want saying there's people, those who have been, if you go to a sports room, sometimes you get the smelly smocks. Smelly smocks. Usually the smelly socks are because of Staphylococcus. So there the organisms is different. Because in a closed areas, those soil
socks, soil clothes.
There. But when you talk of probably a armpit, you are having a Corynebacterium, so it depends upon which area. And also, I must tell, it is not only your armpit or your genitalia, or there are very other 2 areas which I want to bring it to. One is the scalp. The scalp smells a lot, especially in Indian women because they have long hair. And there's a tendency we have seen in our clinical practice, the women, they don't wash their heads on a daily basis. So what happens? The scalp also grows a lot of bacteria, and they are usually
dust.
Dust and other things, and that is also, that's why many times I experience, you get a very musty smell from the scalp. Third thing is that, which I want to tell you, is that as a woman grows older, especially when you're there is a hormonal changes happen. The menopausal changes also give you a different, because the hormone plays a different kind of role. Then of course, another very important area where the audience has to understand, and very important, which I wanted to discuss with you, the breast also plays a very important role. What happens when as we grow older, when your breast becomes little pendulous or not loses its the elastic properties. So what happens? The junction between your skin,
the folds,
they tend to attract a lot of men. And I tell you, India is a metabolic capital of the world. Every 6 person is diabetic. So I get a lot of skin infections, what you call interego, and they are very smelly. So my take on is that these are the small things. So you have to take care of the scalp, you have to take care of the armpits, you have to take. So also you have to take care of those breast folds And by using those, breast supports and all those things, we'll talk a lot about it. But these are the areas one should be very careful about.
So let's say that the surface of the armpit and the genital parts and the breast area should be cleaned absolutely with herbal soaps, probably plenty of water, isn't it? And you have to dry them, isn't it? That's
Absolutely.
what you were saying, that you got to keep them dry. So after a bath, don't hurry up. Dry and dab yourself to the cleaner and put talcum powder probably in those areas.
What I'll tell you, our audience, is that the most important thing is that the first thing is that the bathing is very important. You have to take daily bath. It's not that you manage with your deodorants and all. That's not good. The second thing I must tell people, that a lot of people have seen that they use a lot of, there are two types of sweat controlling products. One is antiperspirants and deodorants.
Yes,
People should not be using antiperspirants, because
no antiperspirants.
the reason being, they stop your sweat process, and that indirectly that gives you much more smell.
And I've seen boys, especially after the
You
gym,
should
they
not
just
be
use roll-ons.
Roll-ons, absolutely, which I am absolutely no to roll-ons. The reason being, you're not supposed to stop the outlet. Then of course, water intake. Normally 35 ml per kg body weight if you're sedentary. Suppose if your weight is 70, multiply 35, this much of water you should. So but if you're doing working out, so at least 3 liters or 3 bottles of water. So water intake, daily bath, and also your what you call the crevices, the folds, they need to be scrubbed. A lot of good scrubs are available, natural scrubs are available. But normally what we tell people that you can scrub them with a scrubber and see to it that they are absolutely dry.
They are dry. Because especially in this kind of season when you have sometimes rain and sometimes very hot, those areas tend to attract a lot of bacteria.
I always say, when it comes to a little aroma therapy, there should be no hurry, no worry, and no curry. So actually what happens, if you are hurrying, so probably you're more sweaty. If you're worrying, if you're more sweaty, and if you're currying and putting more spicy, so there should be no hurry, worry, and curry. Just I thought probably I will say, but definitely you have to take care of your hygiene. You have to take care of you have to clean your surface very well. Then of course there are good tips. It has been found that your nutrition plays a very important role. Look, for example, there are certain foods you should take in, like fibers, high fiber content.
High fiber.
Then of course citrus fruits plays a very important role. The oranges, the peaches,
the
the plums. The lemon also. Lemon plays
in everything.
No, I tell you one interesting thing of lemon, which we discussed in the fruit chapter also.
Right.
Lemon is a very acidic in nature, and that's why it's very anionic and goes very well with a cationic fruits. So what happens when you take the lemon and you scrub those armpits? They don't allow this bacteria to multiply.
And it's a very good tip here. When you're using the lemon, just don't throw it away.
You can use it as a scrub.
Use it as a scrub underarms and in your genital areas. Use it.
And you will find, since because acidic properties, you will not be smelly. Then of course, another thing which I want to tell you is that there are a lot of fruits which has a very high fertility, like watermelon in summer, you can take it. You can take, bale, sharbat and all those things, which you can take it plenty. And see to it that...
and cucumber.
And also I say that those who have been living on very high level of aerated drinks and sugary drinks, usually they have a bad smell, because what happens, sugar gives you a different kind of metabolism, and usually, so you should have a low glycemic food, high fibrous. The diet plays an important role. And also one very important thing is that your diet should be very wholesome, full of fruits, antioxidants, seeds and all those things, because the most important thing, if you really want to be little aromatic, you should enhance your metabolism.
So I guess, if you look at a typical situation when you are meeting somebody coming in, the aroma, the aura that he gives out, in the first few seconds probably you decide what kind of person he is.
You can make out. And also it talks about the metabolism. If a person is very chirpy, agile, and looks very energetic, it has to be metabolically good. And if you are metabolically good, you cannot sweat wrong.
Absolutely. And when you smell well, when you are full of aroma, I guess it is romantic. You're exuding, your personality.
And also I tell you one thing, since Shumi, we at the outset we discussed the smell. Smell is not smell. It's all about emotion and visuals. So when you find a person with very metabolically active, he's looking very bright and agile, very shiny skin, glowing, automatically you start loving his odor because
you're attracted to
you're
that
attracted
person.
emotionally also.
Yes, absolutely.
Like for example, I was telling you a story that when you're moving in your metro or a bus with your lover, so if you emotionally connected, so you love the smell. So there is a lot of emotional connect and the visual connect. So it's very important, and also this is vice versa also. Vice versa, the reason being, if you find a person very sloppy, sluggish, not very active, sedentary, critical, you know, when he met you first time, he was very smelly. So always you will keep that back. So visual plays a very important.
Highly avoidable.
So you will highly avoidable. So your visual and the emotional company, which I told, the limbic system and the occipital cortex, the back of the brain, it plays a very important role. You're connecting the visual and the limbic system.
And also the bad breath.
Bad breath. So another, look. So this is one thing. So I'll because since as a pulmonologist, bad breath is another forte we'll talk about. Very interesting. But before so we have not finished about the skin part. Let me tell you, friends, this sweat pass doesn't happen in a children because normally it starts with the pubertal age when you start having these secondary sexual organs develop. So that's why my take the children, if those who are listening to our shows, or the teenagers or the adolescents,
or the mothers
and all those who have been going to 14 to 15 birthday, they are going into an adolescent age group. They should be very hygienic. Once they come out of the gym, they should be, because even if your partners will not love it.
Menstruating.
Menstruating hygiene. Menstrual hygiene is a big area. So the youngsters, people, your friends, your partners, you should smell good. Come out of the gym, see to it that towel should not be wet. You should be absolutely dry. Many times we find the women, they keep their hairs wet, so it's not good. Then other few tips I want to tell you is that there is certain food, like for example, if you're taking people who take a lot of garlic or spicy food, they have a different kind of smell. So these are different.
Garlic, as they say, good for heart, so you can just pop it in like a pill.
Normally I tell you how to take it. There are, I tell my audience that the right way of taking garlic, there is a garlic which is called single seed garlic.
Yes, right.
Ek dana garlic they call it.
Ek dana.
Ek dana garlic. So what you have to do, darshako, ek dana garlic आप जीभ के पीछे डाल के गप कर लो. हमारे जो जीभ के अलग अलग होते हैं, कोई बिटर है, कोई स्वीट है, कोई सॉल्ट है, कोई पंजेंट है, मतलब तो अगर आप एक दाना गार्लिक को गल्प कर लो, then you don't smell. So that is the techniques which you have been. Then onion and also there. Then onion को भी लोग कहते हैं कि अगर आप पानी में डाल के उसको काटो, it doesn't become smell. Then also you have to understand there's one very important thing. Why this smell is so becomes sometimes musty and goaty? The reason being, there is an enzyme which has been described. I tell you, Shumi, just now I read. This is called ABCC enzyme, ABCC genetic. Some people are genetically determined to smell bad.
Oh my God.
And it has been found in some Asian races that what happens, there is a gene which has been recently discovered called ABCC1 gene. And it does not allow the commensal bacteria to, if you don't have that genes, that means you don't sweat. So genetically susceptible genes have been identified. Those who smell more. So this is one thing. This is a recent discovery. Another thing which we have found that, as we said, the food and other things, how you eat. Some people gog. They don't munch it. Munching of the food makes you assimilate
so that
some people they do smell. They will take you. They were gogging is also
so no hurry,
no worry. These are my then of course. The most important, I tell you, aroma is your breath. Breath is life and breath is energy.
Absolutely.
See to it, upper respiratory system should be clean. We are in a country where there's a lot of suspended particles. As a pulmonologist, your sinus gets choked, your nose gets case. Do a lot of jalneti, nasal wash. Clean your upper respiratory system because a person, you need not have to smell good from your skin. Your breath, so there is something called halitosis. You smell bad. It is because your sinus collects a lot of secretions. It's not that you have been brushing twice a day. How good is your upper respiratory hygiene? That also plays a very important.
Times we don't realize that we are inhaling from our mouth.
Absolutely. This is called post-nasal breath. Your secretions. And also I tell you, my audience, a lot of people I say, other day, they've been wearing the mask. That day, other day, sabji wala was going. मैंने कहा तूने मास्क क्यों पहन रखा? कहते क्यों? हमें सरकार ने बोला मास्क पहनने के लिए. मैंने कितने दिनों से पहन रखा? कहते 7 दिनों से. तो मैंने कहा बदलता नहीं है? कहते धोने के लिए तो किसी ने नहीं बोला मुझे. So people are not aware of it, these perceptions. So people are continuously wearing bars, those who are a little anxious and hyperactive. When you're wearing bars in this kind of arid climate, so you collect a lot of secretions and saliva, and that also can add to halitosis and bad breath. So you have to be mask hygiene is also important, sinus cleansing is also important, your oral hygiene is also very important. So it is something like
quickly 10 tips.
10 tips. So we'll talk about the holistic harmony. So 10 tips.
10 tips.
So number 1.
Yeah.
You should be confident.
Okay.
Of yourself.
Okay.
If you're confident, so you will sweat good because so that means you should be cool and composed.
Okay.
No hurry, worry and curry.
Alright.
You should not be a flight and fright personality.
Right.
You should chill out. Number 2, regular exercises.
All right. Okay.
Number 3, plenty of fluids. You start your day with
3 liters. Don't forget.
3 liters. Unless and until there's a contraindication, if you're a heart disease or renal disease, you talk to your doctors.
Okay.
Number 4, plenty of fruits.
Plenty of fruits.
Fruits which is citrus, because
and
that is
citrus,
water.
Yes.
Citrus fruits. Number 5.
So the oranges and the lemons.
Number 5. You should know how to masticate. Don't go simple syrupy and sugary drinks. Bite, munch it. Don't gog it.
So that means no hurry.
No hurry. Number 4 or 5 is that your grain should be whole grain, not a simple grain.
Right.
Glycemic index, lot of fiber. What I spoke about in my last show, the glycemic index should be good. Then regular bath.
Regular bath and with lot of water.
And also
don't waste water.
Don't waste. And
lot
also
of water.
dry up your body.
Yes, absolutely.
Also use those lemon peel. Sometimes you can take boric paste, boric acid. Also you can use it for underarms. Scrub it well. Scalp. Always the ladies for this, even if you're not taking bath, if you regular scalp on a regular. If you're having a dandruff issue, take care of the dandruff. There's a ketoconazole shampoo is available. You have to use anti-dandruff shampoo. Regular scalp massage with coconut oil, coconut and neem leaves. Coconut and neem. If you dip in coconut oil and neem leaves, it's an amazing scalp tonic.
And a bit of camphor.
And also, after you take the bath, when your body is a little wet, apply a little coconut oil. They say coconut oil can reduce the multiplication of bacteria, which is very good. You can use as an emollient.
Absolutely.
So these are the things. Plus you should wear, and also you should not be little conjuice on getting the things. Bachcho ko you should give you proper, those linen clothes, because a well-hydrated cotton. Don't go on those fancy, synthetic, colorful. It should be simple, khaki, linen. No so synthetic, because you need ultimately a very ventilated body.
You need breathing.
And I think the men should wear a lot of linens. Linen.
Why
so
men?
Women also. Women linen sari also. I don't know. Or linen should be wear. And also, and very important is. There are, very interesting one thing which I want to add here.
Antiperspirant.
No antiperspirants, deodorant. Deodorants are good because deodorant doesn't allow. How does that? How the deodorants work? Deodorants doesn't allow bacteria to multiply. It is antibacterial. So deodorants are good.
Yeah.
Then of course, one very important thing I'm telling you for audience, you will love it, because this is, there's a consumption of essential oils are going up.
Yeah.
Essential oils make you feel good.
Yeah.
So this is what we call functional essential oils. So essential oils has got a huge industry in the world.
Okay.
Now they say that there are certain oils if you apply, like for example.
Just now that I'm getting.
The lemon. Lemon is a very good essential oil.
Yeah.
Camphor is a very good essential. Lavender is eucalyptus. Lavender is a very good essential oil.
Yeah.
Cut grass. After the grass, lemongrass is a very good essential oil. Then you have vanilla is a very good, because of vanilla is a very good essential oil. So you have a lot of essential oil industry is flourishing. It's a huge industry. So you can use a little, and I think whenever you go to the workplace, use little on your dorsum of your hand, little essential oil.
Yeah.
Like for example, we all use a little essential. We see, Shumi. How do you like this essential oil? You see?
Wonderful.
And
thank you so much.
Oh, it's so good. It's sandalwood.
Yes,
so you feel good. You feel joyous. You don't get even at this,
there's a lot of positivity.
Positivity you get, because
positivity gives you romance in life. And when you are romantic, you interact in such a manner, with lot
because
of
vibes,
good vibes.
No, not only that. When you are happy, you're romantic. When you are romantic, then you release more dopamine. When you are dopaminic, you all energy. And when you have energy, so you are full of metabolism. or when you're full of metabolism, where you don't feel thakawat, so thakna mana hai.
Thakna mana hai.
So if you really want to be aromatic, so you know our tagline thakna mana hai, enhance your metabolism, be a bit more metabolic,
be aromatic
and
to
be aromatic
attractive.
to be attractive.
Yeah, and that's how we end our show today. Keep in touch, do write to us. Thank you so much for being with us in our journey.
And don't forget to subscribe our channel.
Yes.
Write to our comment box.
Absolutely.
Namaste and take care.
Namaste. Thank you so much.